We're
10
going
minutes. Ah, I'm just
10 minutes, give or take. Okay.
You were saying you don't think The Boys is a political show?
At first, no. But bringing in is because she. What did she say in episode 7? I know we're not talking about episode 7 today, but she was saying something about. I guess kind of comparing it to right now, like the illegals coming in through the border and stuff. So I'm like, oh, like I kind of don't like when shows get political because I've had too much of it. Right? Like we hear it
Right.
everywhere and
Mhm.
anywhere. So sometimes it's nice
I
to watch
guess I
things
could,
out.
I guess the thing would be if they're overtly political, right? Because
Hmm.
anything that's made by anybody is kind of somewhat a little bit political in the sense that it's going to be, um, you know, guided by their personal beliefs and thoughts and stuff like that.
You
Yeah.
know, I just found out. Well, I guess I didn't realize, but
Hmm.
Seth Rogen is a producer of the show.
Oh no
Yeah,
way.
yeah, he is.
Yeah. So, and then that's when I
Yeah, I can see
realized that
that.
I was like, yeah, I can definitely. That makes sense the way that they're going with some of these with the politics of the show.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely because it's Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. They're the ones that
Huh.
produced Superbad and This Is the End. This Is the End. I think it's called. This Is the End.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
called
And
this.
the
I know.
yeah, yeah, and the interview and Pineapple Express and literally all his movies.
The
Yeah.
interview was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interview was
Is
hilarious.
it? It's no different, but same. Or what did you say? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
We always, me and Alex always say that line. Different, but same.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember how it goes, but yes, I remember that when they enter into North Korea when they landed up from the plane, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that one's all their movies are hilarious. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely see that kind of like left, you know, leaning uh bias, I guess,
Yeah.
in the show. But I mean, I will give it this. For the most part, it's not so like
It's not
overt.
overwhelming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
overwhelming. I think. Oh shoot, I'm trying to remember when this happens. Okay, no, that's in episode 7. Okay, I won't say anything.
Did you watch 7, Eddie?
I was going to, but I was like, no, I can always
No.
wait.
Well, yeah.
I'd watch it again. It was so good.
Yeah, it is really good. It is really good. Okay, so before we start, I really remember very little of episode 5. I mean 4 and 5. But they're also kind of like, building episodes, building towards what episode 6 did.
Yeah.
Oh well, 4 isn't that when he gets that soup to turn into Madeline?
Yes.
Yeah. At first when she came out,
Doppelganger.
I was like, oh my gosh, she died. I was like, what is going on? I was so confused by that. But yeah, that was 4.
I just assumed it was an illusion or like in his mind kind of thing.
That's
Now,
what
when I
thought.
saw her, I was like, that has to be Doppelganger.
I was like, he's probably just so guilty that he killed her that he's just like imagining it. But then, what's his name? Deep gets like they give him his choices of like his future wives.
that was
I thought that was funny.
that was so
Yeah.
hilarious because you could just see. Well, I guess we're doing the review already, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, it was because you were saying what happened in 4 and 5. Yeah. Sorry.
No. It's great. It's
Yeah, we'll
great.
go
It's
back.
great. This is good. This is good. Like the way we're talking, it's perfect. But yeah, that was so funny because it just shows just like, like he hasn't changed like at all. You know what I mean? Like he's still.
Oh, I see him trying to change, but like a lot of it's like at the same time, yeah. And I think it's interesting because I was thinking about this. Like, he doesn't come off as a super sympathetic character,
No,
but
not at all.
like that one scene which I thought was hilarious. Like the one scene where it's like her, I choose her.
Yeah.
With the super sexual one. Like that was really funny. And I can imagine someone like that's something that Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man would say, and it would be endearing. But for Deep, it's not it's like it's like it's funny, but it's not like as endearing as like I guess I don't know if he just doesn't have the charisma, or maybe like the setting of the show is kind of pushing him to be not this endearing character because of what he did to Starlight and all that stuff. But
Yeah. No, I mean
you nailed
definitely.
it right there.
Yeah, right there. What you said with Starlight and everything.
Yeah.
What else happens in episode 4?
Oh, where Homelander outs Maeve.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because they're talking about race, how very few of the soups are, I think, was it like 1% are minorities or something like that?
yes.
Right? So then to kind
Oh,
of,
yeah.
because it was kind of like the reporter, what was her name? Maria Menounos, right? That's her name.
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
he's like,
wow.
oh, like kind of like her gotcha moment. So then he's like, oh, well, Maeve is gay. I was like, oh, such a dick. Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. It's crazy because right there, it just shows you, like, Homelander really doesn't care for like Maeve, because like, at least from what I've seen, right, like somebody to come out is very like important,
Personal.
yeah, personal and important.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to them to decide. You know what I mean?
Well, I think he did care
And
for Maeve, but once he found out that she's keeping secrets from him, then like cut the ties.
yeah, and that one, it's a very unique way of showing that brutal personality, because he doesn't care for her to come out, you know, in her own time. You know,
Yeah.
he takes that away from her, which,
Mhm.
you know, yeah, that was definitely an insight to his brutality in a more like mental level, you know.
Yeah.
What's it called? What did you guys think about I guess I'm gonna skip a little bit to the end, but we can go back if there's anything else. What did you guys think about Homelander? Well, Doppelganger turning into Homelander and kind of like seducing him for a little bit.
I thought that was amazing, interesting, and amazing, because then that means Doppelganger kind of knew that Homelander is obsessed with himself, loves himself.
Yeah.
So, but then if you think about it, Homelander is talking to Homelander, like actually has himself face to face and can just get it all out. You know what I mean? Does
Yeah.
that make sense? What else was I gonna say?
No, it's
Blanked out. I'm so sorry.
no, it's okay.
It's been a long day.
Happens to the best of us. What's it called? I was gonna say, it's crazy because, like, I saw like two things in it. I saw like one that Homelander kind of doesn't like himself. You know, in order for him to have killed Doppelganger like that,
Yeah.
to have that kind of ferocity against his own like image. And what's interesting is that it reminded me of well, narcissism, but like where it comes from in the Greek mythology, which is Narcissus or Narcissa or something like that. It's a person who looked at the reflection
Yeah.
in the water, and they couldn't look away even to eat, and they eventually starved to death. And it was interesting, like seeing him. That's exactly what was kind of like happening there. You know what I mean? He was like looking at himself, like his own self reflection, and I guess that was kind of like a visual representation of like his narcissism. You know?
Yeah.
I'm eating candy corn. I'm so
No,
sorry.
it's okay. What did you think, Gaddy?
I mean, I think it was. I mean, I think I agree. Like, it was really interesting that he chose to, you know. I mean, I also see it kind of like a little bit of desperation on Doppelganger's part, because he's like the only thing that was keeping him alive. Like, he knows how dangerous Homelander is. The only thing keeping him alive was that he was able to satisfy him as Madeline. But once he doesn't need Madeline anymore, it's kind of like shit. Like I need to do something. I know how much Homelander loves himself. So if I transform into myself, and if I transform myself into him, then maybe I'll have some use, and I won't, and you know, it won't kill me. He won't kill me.
Most definitely.
But at the same time, it's like, you know, Homelander was. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but this was after he turned to Stormfront for help, right? With recreating his image.
Oh, okay, yeah, with the memes, right?
Yeah.
What was no? Isn't that in
Isn't that
episode
5?
5? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
episode
that's
5.
5.
No, I think here he had seen those initial memes, like,
Oh yeah.
so
And
he was
then-
really pissed at
And
that
then
point.
he's like, yeah. So maybe that would explain why he, you know, turned himself down, why, like, you know, in a certain sense, like why he killed Doppelganger.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Like kind
Yeah.
of like
No?
he already he was already torn down by like what he was seeing like unravel in front of him, in the media.
Yeah.
Seeing his reflection was
Yeah.
disgusting. And
yeah, exactly. And you can see, like, I mean, watching him try and calm down the masses after he killed that innocent bystander I really like that. That was really interesting because you see like a huge kind of like reversal of what happens in season 1 versus what happens in season 2, at least from my memory, because he is able to, like, he's in control. Like, they're trying to do damage control, but Homelander's like, I got it, and then he like in season 1, Madeline was like, no, we're gonna do it this way. We're gonna get the army involved this way, and then Homelander was like, I got this. He goes to do a press conference, then boom, wins over the masses.
Yeah.
And then versus now, he thinks he still has that kind of charisma, and the masses turn on him.
Yeah.
And then that scene right after where he's like walking, where he walks into Vought, I guess, and he just like starts like he's what not no, he's watching the replay of like the masses turning on him, and then the media like smack talking him, all the stuff, and he's just like frustrated, like he's powerless, he can't do anything about it, he's just like punching the walls kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, thus revealing one of his weaknesses.
Yeah.
Not being able to control other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting for him, seeing himself as such a like high-born type of person. Mm-hmm. He can't control them.
Yeah, exactly. That's like his crashing down to earth, because he's seen himself as, super high, and then just like it's not something that he's ever experienced before.
So, what did you guys think of episode 4? Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
It definitely, I'm trying to remember. For me, it wasn't as, I mean, I still loved it, but it wasn't as like engaging as, episode 6, for example.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely less action packed and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a breather.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I enjoyed it, but I probably wouldn't rate it as high as some of the other episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I did, going back to when he outs Maeve, I think Maeve in that moment realized, because remember she tells her partner, like, oh, if you were to find out about us, like, he'd kill us. And so I think she's in shock that he knows and is letting the whole world know. So I think in that case, it's worse, because now he has control of her relationship, and she's going to be even more terrified.
Yeah.
So back to what you said, it just shows how evil he is. So I thought that was interesting, and then sad for her, because all those years she's felt trapped, and then she's outed like that, and then now it's going to come with even more, what's the word? Oh my God, what's the word? Yeah, now she can't even feel safe anymore.
Yeah.
At least she had that for herself, and now she doesn't.
Yeah, she's kind of like even more trapped in a way than she was before.
Yeah.
Maybe that was Homelander's point.
Yeah, he's torturing her in a different way now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To still control her, even though, they're not going out anymore or whatever. Yeah. Which probably kind of points to why they broke up. Maybe he was too controlling of her.
I wonder which one's worse, for her to like worry that Homelander will find out and just kill her on the spot, like that's constantly in the back of her mind, like kill Elena, or to control her, to know their secret, and like, I'm not going to kill you, but if you don't do what I say, then I'll take I'll do whatever actions I have to, kind of thing.
That's worse.
Yeah, because I mean, in one way you're dead, you don't have to worry about anything else anymore, and the other way you're dead, but you'll have to live.
I don't think she's worried about her own life. I think, honestly, to me, I think it would be worse not knowing, because it's kind of like Homelander's going to find out at some point. What's he going to do when he finds out? And she's not worried about herself. She's worried about Elena.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's kind of, it might be better this way, knowing that he didn't instantly kill Elena as soon as he found out about it. Because she doesn't have the, like, is she safe? Is she not safe? She's safe as long as I do what he says. But as far as, like, on her end, it's worse that he knows, because he has control over her now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to say, before we continue, Zoom might cut us off like at 4:40. So just be prepared. We'll just come back to another like meeting or whatever, because Zoom has like
Okay.
this restriction of 40 minutes.
We were here for
Oh,
longer
okay.
than 40 minutes last time, though, weren't
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was our first time using it. It
Mm.
allowed me to keep the meeting longer,
we? Okay.
but I'm not sure if it's gonna let me do it this time. So, right when it's 4:40, we'll see. So moving on to episode 5. Um, what did you guys think about the? Well, before I go into the big thing, what did you wait? Wait, yeah, no. This was in episode 5. When Homelander is like thinking of burning all the people down and stuff in
Mhm.
that rally. What did you guys think about that?
Like the actual him going crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
was
mean, I
like,
knew right away that it was going to be that that wasn't going to be real.
Hmm.
I mean, if that's what you're asking.
No. Like, what did you think about it in
Like
general?
what I think about the fact
I
that in
mean,
his mind he wanted to do it.
yeah,
Um, well, it shows what he'd be like if he was completely unhinged.
yeah. That
So, I
was
mean,
like the most scariest thing I had seen
yeah, exactly.
up to that
It's pretty
point.
terrifying. That's what, yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say, it's pretty terrifying. I mean, and that's kind of, I mean, it's, you know, we're getting a sneak peek into Batman, like the worst case scenario. You know, like Superman goes crazy, basically.
Yeah, which is interesting. I wonder, because I don't know if the comic book, from what I read, ever has Homelander go full tilt, but I wonder if the show might do it for a little bit or something to
Maybe. Yeah.
differentiate itself. I mean, because with the way blah, 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 with the way they differentiated themselves with Stormfront.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck, I can't say. I was gonna say something that was gonna be a spoiler. That's in episode 7. Never mind. Yeah, I can't say. Okay. Okay. What did you guys think about Homelander's Homelander Black Noir's fight with, or like the little battle they had, Black Noir and the boys?
Oh, when he blew up the house.
Yeah,
When they
yeah.
booby trapped the house.
that whole, I mean, that was like a good, what, 30 minutes, like from noticing that Black Noir was there, to getting the firefighters to come, to setting up the rigging the house,
Yeah.
to that conversation that Huey had with Butcher's aunt or grandma or whatever, which reveals right a lot about why Butcher cares so much for Huey.
Yeah.
And then obviously up until Black Noir's walking all over the place, getting blown up, and then their fight and stuff. What did you guys think about that whole scenario?
I thought the tension was great. Like I thought they did a really good job of portraying the tension between Black Noir and the boys, because I mean, one-on-one they have like zero or like not one because they weren't one-on-one, but you know what I mean, like they have zero chance against Black Noir. And hearing all the explosions, like for a normal person that would be like, yes, we got him, but then you're like it's not slowing him
walking.
Down. Yeah, exactly.
And that's another thing, right? He's not like running, he just and then
like it's not stopping him.
Yeah, which is like, it was really frightening, but it also makes you wonder, like, is Black Noir kind of like hiding some potential like powers or something?
Oh yeah.
I mean, because he got blown up quite a bit, and when they see him after, he looks like barely untouched.
Yeah.
And I mean,
maybe that is his superpower, not.
Yeah, they haven't really gotten very clear, right?
Yeah. And at this,
can't really be destroyed. Well,
possibly
generation, something like that.
Which is interesting, because then he might be kind of like Homelander a little bit, kind of like Maeve. She's also kind of like Homelander. They just both lack the heat vision and the flying, and but obviously like Maeve can't get hurt, and I'm starting to wonder if Black Noir also can't get, because I mean the outfit that he has, it can't be, I mean, as far as I know, enough to
stop. Yeah.
I figured he was just trying to hide his face.
That's definitely
Probably
something.
something's wrong with his face. Maybe that's why he also had the mask on. That's what I thought, but
Well, I mean, that's part of it, I'm sure, but there's got to be.
He's a mystery.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also a mystery because of how quickly he listens to Edgar the whole time. Whenever
Oh, yeah.
he has Butcher by the neck, he doesn't hesitate whatsoever. Unlike Maeve, A Train, Homelander, all of them they always hesitate. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
with Black Noir, he just follows the order like right away.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, like a perfect soldier, basically.
yeah.
yeah. So what did you guys think about the I keep saying the grandma the aunt revealing like that Huey looks like Butcher's younger brother.
It made sense
Yeah.
of why Butcher treated the way he treated Huey, because he's the big brother, sees him as little brother, has got to take care of him, but also kind of, I don't want to say discipline him, but yeah, be the big brother. So, but yeah,
Yeah, I love how
it explains a lot more.
yeah, and I love how it added to their relationship. To basically the show saying, okay, they're big brother, young brother now.
And I think at that moment, Huey also understood now where Butcher was coming from. He wasn't just being this jerk just because, or he didn't like him for no reason. Now he understood, oh, there's more to why he is the way he is with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's definitely learned like the Butcher hasn't had like an easy life. I mean, to lose a brother and to also lose his wife, you know. And then obviously in episode 6, wait, no, that's not episode. Never mind. I was gonna ruin something else. All right. But you know, little by little, they're revealing like why Butcher is so hard, you know, in his demeanor. Yeah, and
Yeah.
seemingly uncaring, you know, to people.
And they don't give just like to add a little bit more onto that. They don't give a lot of they don't talk about it in episode, I think that was 4? No, that was 5, right? Episode 5?
What?
When he goes to, no, that's episode 4 when he goes to his aunt's house.
No, episode 5.
No, it's 5.
It is 5, okay. They don't talk about it, but like they in the trivia, the Amazon trivia, they talk about how his dad was abusive. So you can see the hate that he has for his dad.
Wait, the trivia told you that?
Yeah.
On
it talks
episode
about
5?
Yeah.
I need to start watching it on the
That's-
iPad.
That's like a spoiler.
Well, I mean, I do know, I do understand. I don't know how I ended up finding out, but yeah, I know that they're gonna have a little Lord of the Rings reunion, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, John Noble
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
episode
So-
7.
They do say in the trivia that he's an abusive father. They don't hint at it in episode 5, other than saying the cancer is going fast, and then Butcher says, "Well, not fast enough," right?
Yeah.
But,
Mhm.
but so like just to add a little bit more into like the background of why he is the way he is.
What episode is it where he finds his wife
That's
Episode
in the
four.
Vought compound?
Oh, when he finds her, that's 4.
Is it 5? 4?
He finds her in 4, but he goes to her in 5. No, like isn't it in episode 5 where he finds out
Yeah, because
that
that's where they
Yeah,
meet
yeah,
up,
yeah,
right? After
yeah.
they, yeah.
That's when he actually goes.
yeah, and then she kind of turns his you know, his perspective on him and tells him to leave, and then that's when he goes to his
Yeah.
aunt, and then he calls Huey, and then Huey's like, "Oh, he was nice," and
Yeah.
that's how they know where
That's
to
weird.
go. Yeah. So, is there anything else from the episode 4 and 5 that you guys were thinking of that you liked?
Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, also from the Amazon trivia, right? They were saying that Homelander. Remember when they were watching Taxi Cab? Is it
Oh.
Taxi Cab or Taxi? Is it just Taxi? Taxi Driver.
No, it was Taxi Driver. Yeah, with
Taxi
Robert De Niro.
They were watching, yeah, and then so the connection there is that both of them, you know, the reason that he relates to that movie so much is because just like Robert De Niro's character, Homelander feels like they are the everyone coming around him is encroaching on his like personal space as a privileged white man kind of thing. So like that's like his connection with Robert De Niro's character. That's why he relates to the movie so much. And that kind of adds a little bit more to his persona, why he feels like he's on top of the world, why he feels like you know, he embodies America, all that kind of stuff.
That's interesting. No, yeah, that's right. So he's kind of like well, like Taxi Driver, like Joker,
Yeah.
like any. Well, I guess different from real Joker.
That's what they had in mind when they connected those two, Robert De Niro's character with Homelander.
Right, yeah. No, that makes sense. That speaks a lot, and not to mention that Homelander is like the perfect American, like on the outside, right? He's 6 feet tall, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah, and then, I mean, just getting ahead here, but right, connecting it to the end of episode 6, where they come in and Liberty or Stormfront is, you know, she pretty much sees him as perfect because he embodies the
Aryan
Nazi
features.
Yeah, Aryan. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know what's so crazy about that? That what gives the Nazis at the time, right? What gave them their justification was something that was not even historically like accurate, which it's something I learned in history of English language class. Was because they thought that they were connected to the I think it was the Germanic tribes, but they're not connected at all. You know, like there's somewhere in the line where they're completely disconnected, and that's what initially justified their whole like, we need to have a perfect race, Aryan features, all that. I mean, I'm going off a tangent, but yeah,
if we're talking about political, like, I mean, I think the influence is very subtle, but it's also very profound there, because he's saying, it kind of seems like he's saying the perfect American, or at least, you know, our idea of the perfect American is the perfect Nazi, kind of.
Yeah. And then I think Stormfront talks to A-Train, right? And then they're talking about church or something like that. And then she said, yeah, that she used to be a church goer, but then what'd she say? It used to be pure, and then they started letting, what'd she say?
Anybody.
All kinds of people.
All kinds of people.
And she's like, and there are some people of quality and some are, what'd she say? Trash, garbage, one of those.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, her racism is fully shown there.
Yeah, but how they keep using the word pure, and how they always like Homelander, right?
Yeah.
Totally about what you're talking about right now. But then it also connects, was it episode 6 right at the end, with everything she's saying, and I'm just like,
wait, so before we go more into episode 6, I was gonna ask you guys about that. What do you think about the reveal of Stormfront being what was it?
Liberty.
And the fact that she had one of the last things she did was a racially motivated murder.
And are you talking about episode 3 or episode 6?
No, that's episode. Isn't it episode 4 where Huey and MM and
You know what? I think it is 4, right?
Yeah.
5 is where they meet up at the.
Yeah,
but who are we talking about that she killed? I'm trying to.
Oh, was in like 1950s.
Right? Yeah.
She killed a black person.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. The flashback to.
Yeah, the flashback.
Yeah. I get you. Okay.
Yeah. It's just my thing is, where was she for what, like 40 years? 50 years?
She was gone for a long time for sure.
She's been hiding.
Yeah, I want to know is what, but what was she doing in the meantime? Is what I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's also interesting. He's like, oh my gosh, she doesn't age.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
So that's all one of her, I guess, superpowers, right?
But like, what did you think, especially you, Eddie? Because you said you were kind of not enjoying, like, or not liking, the direction they were taking her at the end of episode 3. What do you think with that being revealed, with her being like?
Well, I mean, it makes a lot more sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that angle? Like the fact that the big bad of this year is going to be a racist superhero.
Yeah. Well, like, what do I think about the fact that she's a racist and she's the superhero and she's the main, she's pretty much being the main bad guy?
Yeah. But also, like, I mean, do you think that's like a strong direction for them to go, or a good direction, or what do you think?
I mean, it definitely makes it easy to hate her, which is, I guess, what they want. Right? And I don't know, because like I said, like, and then we talked about last week, I thought she was like a really kind of likable character. She was just
She
against
was.
the machine kind of thing, right? And then in episode 3, it's like boom, just flipping it on its head, and they're all in on that development that she's really like this bad character. Um, and it made me think a lot about like why it kind of um, since the beginning, well, since the flip, I guess, since like episode 3, why she is going against Vought, and it makes a lot more sense now, because at least this is like my thinking that she's Vought, she's really loyal to Vought, but at the same time, she's not loyal to what Vought is right now, because Vought right now is about making money, and that's not what it was when she, was one of the most powerful players when it was formed, right? It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
more
yeah.
about like this idea of the pure human being kind of thing. So she wants to take it down, but she wants to rebuild it to how it used to be.
Yeah. What about you, Jessica? What do you think about the direction they're taking with focusing on something that is like kind of relevant to today's climate? I guess.
It's so interesting because when she first came out, she was a bit annoying to me. Like I said, she had no filter and she was like the social media,
TikTok, Instagram
yeah,
person.
superhero compared to the other ones who are a little bit more old fashioned, just,
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, what is her role going to be? Because she was a little annoying to me. I was like, maybe she'll die soon because Homelander will get tired of her because she's all about like women empowerment and
Mm-hmm.
But then she started saying little racist stuff here, so I'm like, oh. And then when you talked about it, I noticed it in episode 6 and 7, and it's interesting because she is the villain. If you think about it, she
Yeah.
is the villain. She's the one that's going to create more chaos, I feel, as the season goes on. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it does have a lot to do with like today's climate, right? With everything going on.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to get too political.
No. It's fine. No. It's fine. I was just wondering. No, yeah. Like, I mean, I think it's just from like a critical perspective. I think it's something that could have easily been like mishandled. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I think they're doing it like obvious. So
Well, it's
I think
happening slowly. Like, I like how was because you, Eddie, you kind of said it was like her character kind of changed.
Yeah.
Right?
flip.
How did you word it? Yeah, like just flipped.
But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Because at the beginning she was kind of different, and then now these next 3 episodes, she's like this whole different character. I
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
guess you can say. Now that you know, like her views and her values. Um, I forgot what your question was. I'm so sorry. It's because I can hear my children yelling.
No, it's okay. Now just critically, like what you thought it did for the show, basically.
Oh, it's because I mean, with episode 7, I mean, there's I guess more we can talk about in that
Right.
sense.
But we can't talk about
Yeah, but we can't talk about it. But
sorry, guys.
it.
Next time we'll have 2 episodes to talk about instead of 1, so it ends up working about better.
Yeah.
yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm just messing with you. No, yeah, I was just gonna say, but yeah, in general, like, it's something that could have been easily mishandled, but
Oh no, they handled
They're-
it well.
they're-
What I
Yeah.
will say,
they're handling it well despite their like overtness, because by now you can tell that they're not really subtle about any of the themes or anything that they're doing in the show. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Which is kind of the point. But sorry, Eddie, what were you gonna say?
yeah. So what I will say is that it kind of twist. It was a little twist for me in my perception of the direction I thought they were gonna go in when season 1 ended, which was Homelander's gone crazy. He's in charge now. He's pretty much the one that they have to stop, and that's still true in a certain sense because he's the most powerful one. But like it's basically it's like a repeat of the same scenario in season 1 where he has someone manipulating it. It's not Homelander playing the strings. It's Stormfront who's pretty much going to end up having that role.
No, yeah. I think Homelander has what's so interesting about Homelander, even though he's propped up as a hero, he's never as a leader. He's never been a leader. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's always been led by somebody. I mean, season 1 it was Madeline, and season 2, it's Stormfront now, and I kind of feel like if there was any hope for Homelander, it kind of got swept
I mean,
away.
and we've seen what happens when he goes when he tries to take charge by himself, which is people turn on him. He had to go to Stormfront, and then once she took control, he like you're saying, even though he's built as a leader, he shines brightest when he's like the second fiddle kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, shines brightest. You get the idea.
Yeah, no, and that's what kind of separates him from, which is something that I wanted to talk about going more deeper into episode 6. But like that's what kind of separates him from Butcher. Butcher really is, like, despite the similarities he has with Homefront, Butcher is a leader. You know what I mean? Because he's led the boys, the whole time. And this goes into kind of like the beginning of episode 6, but that part where Starlight makes the comparison of Butcher to Homelander. When I was seeing that, I was like, yeah, that's a comparison I made. But it's interesting that right after that, they completely make your fears rest easy, because like the moment Huey gets attacked, right, Butcher is like completely worried about mode. Big brother mode. Basically, he's completely worried about Huey, and even willing to kill. Not in a justified way, right? But but it shows. But right there, I mean, that shows how different he is from Homelander, despite the similarities that they have. And I think Huey really is like that. What MM said, like right there, that was a perfect representation of how Huey is Butcher's Crane.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you guys think about what's it called? Did you guys notice whenever Butcher was looking through the scope with Starlight?
And he was aiming at her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he was gonna shoot her, but he couldn't.
I don't think he was going to or was thinking of, but I'm sure he was like, I wish I could.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of looked like he was really struggling with it a little bit, and obviously he knew, like, I can't do this, but like, he really wanted to. Like, just his distrust for Soups, I guess, kind of like made him, like you're saying, I really wish I could, even though I can't.
Mm-hmm. And going back to the comparison of Butcher and Homelander, this episode really makes it clear that Homelander is a child. Like big time. Like he can't even wait for Stormfront.
I know, he burns down her trailer.
That's true.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, he gets so upset when he's lied to. I guess because he was lied to from when he was a child, didn't have parents, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was so childish. Like, oh, she didn't come, so I'm gonna burn down her her trailer. Yes, very childish.
I thought
that and then he stalked her too. I went to see how it is.
That is childish, right? Because like, at least I think about it like
a tantrum, a little tantrum.
Like, his mentality, he's still 12 years old. Like, this is his first girlfriend. So I have my first
one that's not forced.
Right. Yeah. But I thought that was really interesting about episode 6 in general, was that they really paved the dynamic between Homelander and Butcher. They just doubled down on Homelander's childness and doubled down on Butcher's not only brutality, but his heart, Yeah. The fact that he's brutal and he has a heart.
Yeah. Because at the beginning, he still doesn't like Starlight. And at the end, they bond over Huey at the hospital.
That was really
But then remember when he looks at her through the...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of right as you were saying that, in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, and she's like, no, don't look at me. We're not the same. Because she was like...
Don't give me that quiet respect.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, because I think he finally saw, like, okay, she, I guess in a sense, did save his life when she...
Of course.
Pushed the man.
Yeah.
And was there to help them and not be the superhero that she's supposed to be. So I think that's why he also gave her the look of respect. But that was also interesting how she said, what did she say? back then I would have felt something.
Yeah,
Like
she
feeling mad,
says,
but now it was somebody in their way.
Oh yeah,
So she is changing.
yeah. You see her growth
It's nice.
hardcore from
Yeah.
season one.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and right there, it kind of like something that I started catching on because I've been doing like a lot of like literary analysis. So I have all these like elements in my head and stuff. So when I'm watching the movie, I can't stop but think about it.
Yeah.
But like a theme or motif rather that I was able to catch when watching the episode, and something that I should have been able to catch when I was watching everything else. But I think episode 6 drives home this motif of dehumanization. You know, dehumanizing the everybody basically. You know, because if you notice, like something that I noticed is that they always call each other by their superhero names. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, hey, Homelander, hey, A Train, Deep. You know, they
Yeah.
never call each other by their first name, their real first
true.
name. You
Yeah.
know, when in comparison to the MCU, it's always, hey, Steve, hey, Tony, hey, you know, Scarlet. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and I think right there, the fact that the Avengers call each other by name shows that they see each other as human. They're not just Iron Man, they're not just Captain America, but in the boys, because they're always calling each other by name, and you can see
Yeah.
when they call each other by name. Like for example, Huey calls Starlight more often than not Annie instead of
Yes.
Starlight. You know what I mean? Which shows that he sees her as human, you know? But the heroes, the soups, right? They always call each other by their name, and I don't know, I just caught on to that was like, because their name is just a marketing
Yeah.
gimmick, right? It's a marketing ploy. So when they call each other by that, they're just seeing each other as the marketing tool that they are, instead of seeing each
Yeah.
other as human. You know?
Pretty much. You're a
Yeah.
tool, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. And then because episode 6 starts off with Frenchie, right?
hmm
Yeah.
And I love where he says that he loves the Golden Girls because they made their own family. And so the boys aren't making their own family. So I thought that was a touching moment. But then I think it's also interesting because when they're in the room, it is episode 6, right? No.
Mhm.
Yeah, at the Grove. What is it called?
Sage Grove, I think.
Sage Grove. Thank you.
Mhm.
They're all in there, and it's Lamplighter, Kimiko, right? Am I
Kimiko.
saying it right? Kimiko.
Yeah.
Kimiko.
Frenchie and Mother's Milk, but those three, they all feel guilty about who they have hurt
hmm
Yeah.
compared to all the other soups and well Butcher, of course, right? So I thought that was interesting how those three do feel guilty for what they've done and they live with it, and I don't want to say they want to live with it, but because yeah, so then one of you said something about Mother's Milk was kind of like the mother figure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And in that episode, I was like, oh my gosh, they were right. I see it where he like tells Frenchie like why didn't he say anything, and that he would have been there for him. And I'm sorry, I can hear my kids.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
They like but what else does he tell them? But he says something about he should feel guilty or let him feel guilty or something like that. So I thought that was interesting.
No, yeah. I mean, right there, you see kind of like what separates the boys from the soups, right? Like the fact that they treat each other, you know, like human
Like
beings.
family.
Yeah, like family. And Lamplighter kind of catches wind of that, and Lamplighter himself kind of. I was really surprised. What did you guys think about Lamplighter as a character, without yet going into what happens later in the episode?
7.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. I didn't think they were going to go in that direction. I'm really glad they did because it kind of shows, like specifically thinking of towards the end of episode 6, where, you know, you see his remorse because he didn't realize, you know, that he was going to kill Grace Mallory's kids. I think it was her kids,
Grandchildren, I think.
grandchildren. And you know, it's kind of like we've all been there in a certain sense. Not that we've done anything that bad, right? Like, we've all made a mistake that we didn't realize we were doing, or you know, and then you regret it. And I really like, and this is one of the big differentiators from the comics, from what I understand, because in the comics, Mallory does kill Lamplighter. but I love, you know, that Frenchie, you know, he was like, because it's true. When he was like, if I may, please, before you kill him, um, killing him isn't going to, you know, he's you're sparing him the torment
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
can't hurt him worse than he's hurting himself right now. And so it really, I thought that was really true, and it's really beautiful because it kind of shows, you know, vengeance isn't going to get you anywhere. Um, I'm really interested to see if, how and if, because who knows what's going to happen, right? But how and if they do a redemption with Lamplighter. I feel like it probably still is going to end badly for him and his death at some point, but uh, I always like a good redemption story, so we'll see what happens.
I can't say anything now.
Yeah, don't tell me if it happens or not already.
But you know, going to what you're talking about with Lamplighter and his like the whole vengeance and stuff. Something that I saw um in the memory in the flashback that they
Mhm.
that's in episode
Yeah,
6, right? I'm not
yeah.
okay. I'm not getting confused.
With the
Yeah.
boards on top
That's
of his
flashbacks.
mouth and stuff.
And you notice how Mallory says, "Oh, you can't back an animal like that into a corner." You
Yeah,
know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, what I thought that was kind of like her, kind of like a self-fulfillment prophecy. You know what I mean? Like self-fulfilling prophecy. Like,
yeah,
you know, because like I was saying, right? Like they humanize soups and stuff, and with her saying that and treating them like that, I mean, it kind of shows like the ultimate flaw in her initial plan was treating Lamplighter like, you know, the animal that he,
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of makes her vengeance, if she were to have carried it out, like unjustified,
yeah,
you know. Which it's cool that she was able to cool her trigger finger for a bit.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure
And
that's
it also
also.
shows, you know, like, I mean, kind of just to prove her wrong even more, like when they were stuck in at the pharmacy, I guess, where they had all the chemicals, and they were trying to make a Frenchie was trying to build a bomb, and he was like, why didn't we die? Because if you had told them, then Homelander would have killed. They would have tracked us down. And they would have killed us. And what happened was he didn't. He was like, I didn't tell them, and it's because probably because he felt the remorse himself from realizing that, you know, what he did. So like
No,
the opposite of being an animal, it's actually very human.
yeah, exactly. His humane qualities kept him, you know, on the side of,
Yeah,
despite Stormfront's, you know, like you're saying how, you know, they're a tool. Like Stormfront was using him as a tool.
yeah,
He was using
yeah,
him as a human evidence burner.
yeah, pretty
No, it's,
much.
Yeah.
what's it called? Lamplighter, take him. Oh, so something that I latched onto, which goes into his humanity. If you listen to when he's saying about the kids, right? That first he didn't know that they were kids, but he said, but then I
Yeah,
heard them screaming.
green. Yeah,
It almost kind of, and he's not able to finish what he was saying, but I think right there, like it shows that like the moment that he heard them screaming, he was like, well, either I
yeah,
give them like either I do like a mercy killing or let them suffer. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
So he
Of course.
just
yeah.
he decides to just, you know,
Go on.
have to finish it basically, which is kind of like just the worst thing you could ever.
Yeah, it's like a terrible situation to be in.
Yeah.
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 And I think he also at that moment realized, oh my gosh, these are kids and I'm supposed to be a superhero. What am I doing?
Yeah,
Killing innocent people. And I think they all start off like that, like, yes, we're soups, we're in the chosen seven, and everything's
uh-huh.
gonna be, I want to say rainbows and butterflies, but they think they're gonna be superheroes, and then they realize they end up killing people who are, how Starlight said, getting in the way. And I think that's why Starlight at first she was like excited about being a part of the seven, and as she sees as time is passing by everything they're doing that is wrong, and that's not what she signed up for. So I think
Yeah,
that's also what probably affected him in that moment, realizing I'm supposed to be a superhero,
Yeah.
and there he is burning children.
yeah, yeah,
And Starlight sees firsthand the collateral damage, right? Because when she gets into the car, you see like the baby seat that's in there. So she realizes that she killed, a father, not just.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, how ugly, because he was a father and he was just innocent. He was there. He stopped to help him, but of course he got scared when he saw the gun, and of course he didn't know that was Starlight. So, but yeah, but it's so funny, or not funny, but I felt sad when she was talking to her mom and was telling her, like, you lied to me. You said God chose me. I was born this way. And I thought that was so sad. Like, imagine just since you're born being told you're special and God made you a superhero, and then you find out, no, you were just a lab rat. I really don't want to use that word, but basically.
Yeah.
So she's also still fighting that at the same time, like that anger of she was lied to.
That's true.
Most of her life.
I wonder if they'll address that a little bit later on. I don't know if they'll.
Oh my God, is that addressed in episode 7?
The conversation that was in episode what?
No, it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, I'll stop talking. Yeah.
No, well, what you're saying will happen. Like, it was in the conversation they had.
Eventually, yeah. But you can see the anger of being lied to your whole life, which is also the same anger that Homelander has, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, that is. Huh. Wait.
Well, because don't they show Black Noir crying when they all find out that they were not born this way?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Remember that scene? And I was like, oh my God, is he crying? Is he really crying?
He's not a complete robot.
That's true. What's it called? What happens at... Because I don't want to go into episode 7 by accident. What happens at the end of episode 6?
Episode 6 was she reveals that she was Stormfront reveals that she's super old, and she Homelander is like the perfect human kind of thing, and then they, instead of killing her like he was going to do, they make out.
Yeah. Oh wait, doesn't that happen in the beginning too? They make out and... No,
isn't it? No, the end of episode 5.
They're that happens
each other up, and then like he burns her chest.
And then she gets turned on, and so does he. And
well, see, I thought that was interesting. I was like, how is she not dying? Like, what? Okay, yeah. So at the end of at the end of that episode, I was like, how is she going to die? Because he's literally like burning her chest, and nothing really is happening. So then at the end of episode 6, where he says, what did he say? I found out. I don't know if he said I found out how to hurt you, or I forgot what word he said. So I was like, oh my gosh, how's he gonna kill her? He probably found how to kill her. But then she's like, let me explain. And then she was married to Vought though.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the founder.
Yeah, so as she's saying everything, I'm just like, oh my gosh, in total shock. And then you kind of see his face kind of angry and confused. So I'm like, okay, is he really as racist or not? Is he taken back? Is he gonna kill her? But then when she's like, you're perfect and I'm so in love with you, I'm like, oh, that's all she needed to say to get him on board.
Yeah.
And not before she does reveal that his genes come from Vaught's, the original Vought dude. And I was telling Jessica this before you came in, Eddie, but so his genes come from the original Vought founder, right? And she was married to Vought, right?
Yeah.
And well, now she's having sex and relations with Homelander. And she tells Homelander all this. And then Homelander is just like immediately turned on instead of turned off. And right there, I was thinking, there has to be some sort of like Oedipus complex, right?
Yes, because he finds out she is a mom. And she's a lot older than what she's supposed to be.
Which, as we learned in the first 2 episodes, is one of his character traits.
Yes. That's true. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. Incest, sort of, right? Because he's like technically,
related, yeah.
Technically, like stepmom, step grandma.
But would it be like a son, a child, or would it be like a clone?
Well, his gene. Well, she said that his genes come from the Vought founder. So I'm assuming that they like saved his sperm and inseminated his sperm into somebody, obviously not Stormfront, and maybe so.
Well, then no, I don't think they would be.
So like they're technically related, not super like they're not blood related, but they're technically related.
If it was sperm, yeah.
Like I said, they're like she's like his step grandma.
Yeah, that doesn't make it any less creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but
Yeah,
I mean,
if it was a sperm, then yeah, that's obviously just adds another dimension to his like kind of craziness. But if it was like genetic, like oh we took a sample of your DNA, we rebuilt you kind of thing, then it makes more sense for Stormfront to want that because it was her original love kind of thing.
right. Oh, yeah. I mean, that could be. Yeah. I mean, my guess is that they got like the sperm, but I mean, who knows? Maybe they genetically created him with the genes somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting to think about. Because then, yeah, he'd be like almost like a spitting. Like, what's funny is that I think, if I'm not mistaken, when they show the picture of her married to the Vought founder, he's not really like particularly good looking or anything, right?
I don't remember honestly.
I didn't pay attention to the photo.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I'm thinking that if he wasn't, and that if he's from the genes of him and he's now like perfect, and that's like I don't know. So I'm thinking too much about it.
What's interesting to me, because at the end I'm like, okay, she's telling Homelander what her vision is for Vought, getting it back to what it used to be, because it's the what she say, culture war, and it's between the races and getting it back to being pure. And I'm like, but Stan is a black man. Does he know what's going on? That's where I was like, okay, I need to know what he knows. Is he maybe somebody? Is he somebody else?
Well,
do you get me? Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Maybe it's not Stan; it's someone else inside Stan.
He's clearly not in the know if he is Stan.
But I feel like he's in the know of everything.
Right. So maybe Stormfront knows more than she lets on, and maybe she's using him. And she's
I was kind of wondering why, he would allow her to still, be running free, basically to run unchecked, basically, because it seems like she would be doing a lot of damage to Vought with, her live streams and all, and the meme group that she has running and all that stuff. So I was like, why is he allowing this to happen? Because he cares very much about his image, kind of thing. And I just kind of in the back of my head, it was like, well, I mean, in a way, maybe she's actually helping Vought in his eyes, because it's like, even bad press, as long as they're talking about you, kind of thing.
It's good press.
Yeah. So, but like, I mean, that's another interesting angle to it. That there's actually more to him than just face value, kind of thing.
No, and I mean, to add to that, like if maybe it's a calculated risk he's taking, just like Stormfront is taking a calculated risk. Like if she hasn't told Stan everything and she's kind of using him and using his ignorance to her advantage, maybe he's also trying to do the same thing as well, and we might see that come to a head in episode 8 or 7.
Have they said how many episodes will be?
8 episodes.
Is it 8? Oh.
Yeah.
No.
8 episodes.
So this coming Friday is the last episode?
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then no more boys for probably 2 years.
2 years? Why?
Well, yeah, because of Corona.
Oh.
There's no way.
Well, yeah, I guess they weren't filming.
A lot of shows are starting to film now.
Right. But you said that they filmed in
Toronto.
Before
we left Toronto, there was like 0 cases.
Oh, you guys were there.
I mean, so March, everything closed down. So we were in Texas when the lockdown happened. Mm-hmm. Took us 2 weeks to get a flight back to Toronto. Took forever. But everything was shut down till I want to say maybe mid-July. Restaurants opened up, but with restrictions. Mm-hmm. Compared to the US, I think everything opened up, what was it, end of May or something like that? But yeah, I mean, everything was very strict in Toronto. And before we left, there was no cases, no one in the hospital. But I think they went up, but not compared to the US. So I feel like it might be safe to start shooting, because from what I heard, they're already shooting again
Where's
in Toronto.
Toronto?
Okay. New York.
New York, yeah, border. Well, no.
That area.
Wait, it's
Well, we
in-
were like 45 minutes away from Buffalo, or like 50
Hmm.
minutes of traffic and stuff. Buffalo, New York.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I
like
guess we'll
northeast.
see. Yeah, because I
Okay,
know.
well, no, we lived in Oakville, which is a city outside of Toronto, but it's part of the Greater Toronto area.
Yeah.
But we're like 25 minutes away from Toronto, so Toronto to the U.S. border would be maybe about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, but before we left, there was celebrities already being seen around town
Hmm.
and getting ready to shoot shows and stuff.
interesting.
Well, hopefully 1 year, because 2 years, that kind of sucks.
I don't think it's gonna be 1 year because they had started filming season 2 a week after season 1 premiered. So.
Then I shouldn't have watched these episodes because I don't want to have to.
Hey, well now you're gonna know how it feels for like Game of Thrones. We had to wait like what 2.5 years for season 8.
The last season.
Well, that's also partially why I didn't want to. Like I hate watching shows as they come out. I watched The Boys because it was really good.
Yeah.
But usually I'm like, okay, at least let 4 or 5 seasons pass and I can marathon them all, and then the next one will be out by then. Okay.
Get
Oh my
used
gosh,
to
I'm
it,
like
man.
that, yeah. The only show I watched weekly was Game of Thrones. Other than that, any show that came out, I would wait until it was available to stream, and then, how you said, just binge watch it.
Yeah.
So I kind of
Yeah.
hated when The Boys it came out. There was gonna be weekly. I was like, no.
Yeah. So yeah.
But then season 1 we finished in like 2 days. So.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because Thursday was the last episode for Raised by Wolves. It was like the season finale. Have you guys seen it? No, right? No. It's really good.
Raised by Wolves? What?
Raised by Wolves. Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
Oh, you mean Among the Wolves?
No, it's Raised by Wolves.
Raised by Wolves?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's called Raised by Wolves.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's with the
it's really
lady
interesting.
robot. Right?
Yeah, it's with the androids, and they go to another planet and try to.
Yeah, that's made by Ridley Scott.
Yeah, so there's only 8 episodes, I believe. And then the last episode was last Thursday. I'm like, why do such great shows have to have such a short amount of episodes?
Because they're serialized. That's
I know, but I'm
simple.
just like, oh.
Because procedural shows, right? Like they have that structure of villain of the week or crime of the week or monster of the week or whatever, and that allows them to be able to get the main story and kind of like spread it out over the course of like 25 episodes, because your episodes are all going to be roughly the same kind of episode. But when it's a serialized show, it's like a movie, so they can only do like a 10-hour movie.
Yeah.
It'd be insane if supposedly Lord of the Rings, the one that Amazon is making, the series, supposed to take place during the Second Age of Middle Earth. It's going to have 50 episodes, and 20 of them are going to release at once.
Oh my
and
god!
It follows a serialized format, so that's crazy.
Well, that one, I mean, it's because you've seen, like, I'm reading through the first time I'm reading through the trilogy right now, and then like I'm starting to look, okay, what's next, because I'm on the 3rd book, and then I'm just like there's like so much that Tolkien wrote. Like, I mean, some of it, bits and pieces that they put together. Some of it was just like little side stories, and they have so much to go on that I can see very easily more than 50 episodes probably if they wanted to do that.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
honestly, just a Silmarillion by itself would be like, would be that length, 50 episodes if they wanted to.
Yeah. Well, we got off tangent.
Oh, sorry.
I'm always down to talk about Lord of the Rings.
No. It's fine. It's fine. This is what's awesome. Just having regular conversation about stuff. But so before we finish, what would you guys give these batch of episodes, which I would consider probably like Act 2 of the story? What would be your overall score for 4, 5, and 6?
5 and 6, I'd say like a 8.
Okay.
4, I really can't remember, so maybe like a 6. 7.
No, I can see that for sure.
Right? Yeah, because the 4.
What do you think?
I did like 5 because everything took place at Sage Grove, right?
Yeah.
Episode
then-
6 was Stage Grove, right?
6.
And then episode,
Oh, 6. Okay.
and then episode 5 was Black Noir, and then episode
Yes.
4 was finding out. Oh no, wait. Finding out who Lamplighter. Liberty. I get confused.
Liberty and Stormfront. Yeah.
Yes.
I would give. Honestly, I would have no problem giving it a perfect score because I love the way that 6. I love the dynamic between Huey and Butcher, Starlight and Butcher. Like I love watching their relationship develop, and I love the twist at the end with Stormfront and all that stuff. The only thing that would hold it back would be like I really like we were talking about, like just like I was saying right now, 4 is a little bit forgettable in so much as kind of what happens kind of thing. Just this happens, that happens. I think the main thing that stands out in my mind from episode 4 was Butcher finds out his wife's location, and then everything else, like you would have to tell me now, say like, oh yeah, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what would you give it?
A perfect score, but then considering episode 4, I'll probably give it a 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I would say definitely I'd be like 8.5, possibly 9 range. Definitely because even in the slow moments, I feel like they're building up to something. And like I said, like I thought Kimiko and Frenchie's relationship was kind of meandering at first.
Yeah.
It really feels like you really see the purpose of, like, I didn't think there needed to be that much back and forth, but you do see finally like the purpose of the relationship in episode 5 and 6.
Well, just to add to that, in the Amazon trivia, they were saying that this might explain why they were having trouble moving their relationship along a little bit, because in the comics they don't have a relationship. It's like big brother, little sister kind of thing.
Oh.
Okay.
So maybe they were struggling to find direction, and then once they found it, they can go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Dude, you see at this point, all the different stuff that they're doing.
They've changed a lot.
Yeah, like I mean, whatever the ending is, it's gonna be at the very least a completely different context. You won't feel the same way. Although I do remember hearing that the comic is way more brutal than the show is. Like,
yeah, I can imagine that.
It's like way more vulgar and severe in terms of the atrocities that the heroes commit, because the writer supposedly like really just hates heroes as an idea. So he's very like, even Starlight is not like the way she's portrayed in the show. Yeah. So
I imagine it kind of like The Walking Dead. I haven't read. I've read very little of the comics, but like you can see, I mean, obviously they've changed so much from my understanding, and that's part of it is by necessity, because
you still watch that?
No, I stopped watching it after Rick left.
Okay.
I did too.
Like,
me too.
Yeah, I lost all motivation after he left, basically. But they changed so much, and then I kept reading about the changes. Then they kept changing stuff. Part of that was by necessity, because characters, actors' contracts and stuff like that. But like, they changed so much, and I imagine that's why I don't really see it being an issue. I'm not saying that you're calling it an issue, but like, I mean, it's just kind of something that happens. They're gonna divert from the plot.
And honestly, from what I've heard, all the changes that they've made make the show like actually a better version of the story than the comic book itself, from what I've heard. Versus something like, say, Lord of the Rings or even Game of Thrones, where there's contention as to what's the better version, the original or the film.
You always got to take consideration between what works in like a novel kind of thing, or like a graphic novel, versus what works in film.
For sure. No, yeah, for sure. That's why. Okay, let's keep talking. So yeah, for everyone listening and watching still, if you've made it through this hour and a half-ish review, thanks for watching. That's what we all thought about it. We're in the 7 to 8 to 9 range. We're really excited to see what episode 7 and 8 have, right? So far, right? Guys,
Definitely.
Yeah.
At this point, would you say that you're more excited with where season 2 is going versus season 1?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the further you go down the rabbit hole, I want more of my questions to be answered. And it feels like we're getting there compared to season 1.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
Nailed
it. Yeah. So for everyone who's watching, if you guys have any comments or whatever, make sure you comment down below. If you have any suggestions or whatever. If not, we'll see you next time when we review episodes 7 and 8. And then after that, we just have to figure out what to do next.
Lord of the Rings.
And Lord of the Rings. So yeah, okay. Hold on. Let me stop recording.